Zurück mit the boy wanted me to tell you about your background, and I can't remember what it was.
Was it complimentary?
I don't know.
No, it was not.
It's probably not. You've been on, like, I think it was from the most recent thing you asked my opinion on. I think
The
it's all
last thing
downhill from
I will
there.
ever ask your opinion on. I thought you'd like that, being into water. And I thought you'd understand the chemistry of it as well. It's not just water in a tub.
Okay, no, I totally...
You know, like people go to the Dead Sea to float.
Yeah, I just saw a video where there was like somebody drowning because it was like actually the salinity was too high that it was like pulling them under.
Yeah.
And it was all these all these other horrified mainland tourists. And they were trying to help, you know, the person that couldn't get it was actually quite comical. I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but it was a sight to behold. And maybe this is where you can explain to me better, because this is where you and I are very different, and not in a bad way. I think that, and so I find that the things you are very much into, I wouldn't call it pseudo wellness. And the reason why I say pseudo wellness is there's a lot of pseudo wellness. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. There's like a lot of, especially where we were coming, where we had come from recently, there's a lot of opportunities for pseudo wellness. I'll just leave it at that. But I believe that you really are a person that's into bettering yourself and things like that, and trying different things. And you're very open-minded to it. And that's why I'm always very curious. But this last thing has me boggled. Not because, I mean, I've full on believe in water therapy, like visually hearing it. I'm a firm believer of water therapy. What I didn't understand, and what my son, who was reading over my shoulder and then let out a bunch of like, what the is he on about this time? It was that you were, I don't know, entertaining the idea of going somewhere and floating in water and then parting with your money, giving people your money to float in water. To which my son, and I don't think that he was wrong, saying, hey, he'll take you to the pool over here at the condo and you could pay him and he'll just let you float around on there.
Yeah, but it's not just floating, it's isolation. It's sensory deprivation.
Have you seen that one episode of Absolutely Fabulous when Adina got the isolation tank? It's a fantastic episode. You should look it up. I'm sure it's somewhere out there. So it is putting you in it, because the picture did not show that you were in a capsule or anything like that. It just looked like you were in a pool, to which we couldn't understand.
I understand that I could do that anywhere. It's the salt to water ratio that, see, it's very easy to float. And reading about it, you don't know where your body ends and the water starts. So it immerses you in the water, and then the sensory deprivation, nobody can get in, nobody can bother you. It's just you and your thoughts for however long a session is.
Can't you achieve the same thing of filling the tub and then going underwater most of the way except for your nose so you can breathe? Or you could get a snorkel.
To what end? To save money?
No, not to save money, just to, I mean, isn't it the same thing?
Don't know.
I mean,
I
if
was
your eyes
asking
are
it if you just
closed, right? I mean, can't I mean, no, I'm just I mean, but it I mean, yeah, I guess you could save money. Like how much was a session? How much was a
I
session?
don't know. I didn't go ahead after
I'm gonna
the
say it's
abuse.
probably at least 2,000 baht. That's a
Okay.
I
Well,
would say that's an average wellness amount, I think, right? 2,000 baht. I'm not knocking. I'm really I mean, it could be really, really
yes,
great.
you were.
I'm knocking the ad because the ad looked like she was just floating in a pool and we were just like, so maybe it was just
Well,
a bad
it was the
ad.
pods. Yeah, didn't you see the pods and the isolation? And it was not just about floating in water.
We just saw the floating in the water. And maybe it was coming off of, I just saw something the other day that literally, it was some study, right? Obviously, there was no source cited. And it said that people were prone to do better, test better. I don't know if they had 2 hours of quiet isolation, at least absolute quiet isolation a day.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that happened when people sleep. So isn't that kind of mute? And everyone's doing it. So we should all like pat each other on the back because we're all doing it. Is it different quiet?
Yeah, 'cause sleep is unconscious.
Oh, so you have to be conscious for the quiet.
Yeah, so that your mind can think. It all links to meditation and finding your inner peace.
Wouldn't sleep bring inner peace?
Yeah, but you can't be thinking when you're sleeping apart from dreams.
Do you dream a lot?
Yeah, I've had very weird dreams recently, and I'm
Do
not
you
sure. I'm not sure why.
do you have you ever found like different patterns of your dreams throughout life? Or like recurring patterns of dreams?
Yeah, I've had recurring dreams or recurring nightmares. I don't have any at the moment, but I have very strange dreams. And I think it's I take a gummy to help me sleep, and I think that might be what makes me have weird dreams.
Do you do you find that I mean, do you remember even like when you were young having a lot of dreams? I mean, is it something that's happened throughout life?
I don't know. You mean like dreams, not
Yeah, just like
ambitions?
dreams.
Um, I think I've had more as I've got older.
Huh. Have you ever found that there's been any kind of correlation? Because some people say that they have dreams and then like even my mom, I remember a very specific time when I was younger that she woke up, had a very, very terrible dream, and she dreamed that an airplane went down. And she dreamed of the number of people. And we said, well, how did you know that? And she said, it was like on the newspaper. And then 2 days later, there was an airline crash, which was almost about the same number of people. And I remember that totally screwed me up, like my whole childhood. Because after that, I was like, "Well, mom knows everything. She could predict every bad thing that I do. She could feel it. She could sense it." That totally that jacked me up. I mean, it really ruined it because I was like, "Oh my god, she's psychic. She's gonna know." And then I just had this guilt all the time when I was a kid. I'm like, "She's gonna know. She's gonna find out if I do anything bad." Not that I wanted to do anything bad. I was like pretty square kid,
Yeah, but she probably planned that. That was like the original gaslighting. That
right?
she made you think that she was psychic, so that you'd spend
She
the rest of
withheld
your
the
life.
news, like, for yeah, she, like,
Yeah, like
withheld the news for a couple of days and then let the news
yeah,
play.
maybe even got it
Totally
made.
could have been
Yeah.
possible, like, I don't know. Um, I've had a recurring dream since I was a little girl, and it's of Wales, which is not the country. It's not like Tom Jones isn't, like, popping up in my dreams. But it's very strange because it's it's been something that I've had like such deep, deep images of. And it made me think throughout life that, oh my God, I think in a past life I was a whale. I've told people this because I'm like, I can't explain these kinds of like I dream of whales all the time. And I wouldn't say that I'm like whale cred. Like I like cetaceans, I'm a big fan. But you know what I'm saying? Like I love whales, but it's strange to me. And it's just that how close they are and the detail of it and all that kind of stuff. So But I've also had really, really cool dreams sometimes that have I remember one in particular where I dreamed I was on another planet and the whales weren't like underwater. They were like just moving about like in the air. And it made me think about the concept of like when I woke of the concept of water. As like to us, water is like this liquid thing, right? But what if someplace else? I mean, all it is it's just we think of water as like water, just like this liquid water thing, right? But it's actually just an element.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah. It's
element
just
like,
a medium for the whales to swim through.
right? Which is like really strange. And it's like birds are up in this element and they have a way that they could fly through. But well, penguins though can go underwater and fly that way. So sometimes dreams kind of make me think of the overall, universe. I like dreams. I never had like, I wouldn't say that I've ever had any kind of like a premonition dream.
Yeah. I don't think I have. I know a friend of mine who's starting a dream journal. That's quite a cool idea. Just as
Oh,
soon as
that
you
is
wake
kind of,
up, writing down what your dreams are. So I know I've had weird dreams, but I can't remember. I can remember when I wake up, but then they're immediately gone.
yeah. Have you ever woken up and like did not want to wake up because you were like in the middle of a good dream and you're like, oh, I'd rather
Yeah,
wish I didn't wake
many
up.
times. Yeah, you wake up disappointed that you don't have Sting's number in your mobile phone. You don't have these friends that you thought you had.
Yeah. Did you ever see the one video on YouTube of the octopus that was dreaming? It's an amazing, amazing video. And this guy, he has rescue octopus or something, so he studies it. But as the octopus was dreaming, it shape color shifted, through the different things,
Yeah,
and you would wonder what it was dreaming about because it would go white and then it would like look like a rock. It would just change and look like a rock, but it was just still stuck to the wall. And so the guy was like talking, he's like, oh, maybe she's thinking of hiding right now. And then she turned like bright, like a bright red. And it's like, oh, that's when she's excited. So maybe she sees something that was kind of fascinating to think about, other species dreaming. We know, your dogs dream, my cats dream, my dogs have dreamed, even the squirrel. I've had to wake up Apollo before because Apollo is having some kind of a nightmare, and so even a squirrel will have a nightmare, so it's really fascinating. um it makes you kind of like wonder, what is it, what is it,
yeah,
what is it, what is it, what is our, as our minds trying to do, is it it's obviously trying to process stuff, you know? But sometimes, like you said, it can invent things. We're sitting here like thinking about AI, right? And AI kind of being self-aware, but this is our brains when we're asleep, when we're unconscious, as you say, but it's doing this whole other thing. And it's creating script, which is kind of fascinating.
yeah. Well, that was the original book for Blade Runner, right? I think we're at that stage of life now that it's hard to tell the difference between reality and what's AI.
I have to look at, I saw this really beautiful carousel yesterday, and it is in, I want to say Slovakia. Um, and it looks kind of steampunk, like steampunk parts, and there were children on it. And it looks so fantastic and whimsical. I thought this surely is AI. And it turns out it wasn't AI. But,
Yeah,
you have to check now. Like I'm
yeah,
constantly having to check now.
yeah. And you'd think something would take weeks to make, but like did you see Macron getting playfully smacked in the face by his um, partner?
Why, can I ask you a question? Why did you say it was playfully done?
Bec- because he came out with a video and said that was the case.
I saw the video too.
Now, the point I was going to make is there's lots of memes that have come out of that, of Macron fighting back, and they just look so realistic. And you'd think
Right?
it'd take weeks to make that. But it must just be you write a command and it happens.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I saw the video
Yeah,
too. It's hard to tell.
yeah,
Um, I in terms of how fast it is, yeah, though I told you that I had this man come to repair my refrigerator, and he was saying that he was like paying a ridiculous amount of money for advertising, like every month on Google. And I was like, why are you paying for advertising on Google? And he was paying something like 3,000 baht a day. 3,000 baht a day. Is that part of his training?
yeah.
Obviously not.
Well, it worked a little bit.
It worked for
And
like a nanosecond.
then I give him. It depends how big the distraction is. See, here it comes.
So he barks, you ring a bell, he gets a treat.
Yeah.
Who's trained who? Are you sure you've trained him, or do you think he's
It
trained
stops
you?
him barking. No, it's the harmony that happens here. See.
So this man came over and he was saying that, he was really struggling to pay, 3,000 baht a day for Google advertising. And, that's like about 100 quid, right? 100 quid is
$100, yeah.
expensive in the UK.
Yeah.
I think that's hard for someone in the UK to pay 100 bucks a day for advertising, right? And in a country where what is it, the average minimum pay is something like $10, $12 a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 100 is kind of crazy. So I was like, why are you advertising on Google? Like, why don't you just use social media? He just said that, he dropped out at 15. He wasn't kind of good with all that kind of stuff. And so I just was like, oh, I thought, I want to save the birds. I want to save the people. I just really wanted to help, right? So I was like, let's give this to ChatGPT, see what we could do. And we made him a digital marketing package, like, I don't know, in a half hour or something. But what was crazy was I took one picture of him to use for the thing. And then it made all these different angles of him, not him.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just took a picture, head, chest to head, right? That was it. That's all that I took a picture of. It created these pictures of him repairing a refrigerator from the back. It was like there was a camera in the house. I mean, he was like, when did you take that? And I said, that's not you. And he's like, oh, no, that's not me. I'm like, no, that's not you. That's not even my fridge. It was crazy, but it was so crazy how I didn't even know it could do that. It just did it because I was like, help me. I explained the situation to ChatGPT. I'm like, this poor man is like struggling. He could be saving so much money. He could be using it on himself. This man was almost in tears. What can we do? And it told me what to do. I did it, and it 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 made something much much better. And I thought, God, that's fantastic for people that if you couldn't afford some kind of crazy marketing thing, or that kind of stuff, now you can kind of go and do that for free. I thought that was amazing, but also scary that it put him in situation. I mean, and if you showed that maybe to his wife, right? Said, is this your husband? She would have said, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even, like that's what's so kind of crazy.
So that's going to become the new excuse when everyone's caught out. They'll say it wasn't me; it was AI.
That's why I told you about that sixth finger ring, the ring that you can wear that gives you a sixth finger so that you could start wearing it all the time. So you could say, that's not me, that's AI. That's what I'm just going to start wearing.
Yeah.
That's going to be my accessory piece. So everybody's got all these like super long nails. I'm just going to have a sixth finger.
Might have another thumb. Wonder how that would work.
Double opposable. What could you do with double opposable thumbs? I wanted to talk to you about something. Have you heard of this place in Japan? And it's really cool. I just saw a picture of it recently, and I was just so blown away. It is called the Super K, or it's called the Super Kamio Kande.
It's not a supermarket, right?
No, 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 no. So it is this place. It's like deep in this mountain, right? And it's got like the purest water, like the purest water with nothing in it whatsoever, right? It looks like something at first when I saw the photo of it, I thought it was something out of like it looked like something out of Mission Impossible, right? It just looked like, this must be a set, some CGI thing. And it's got all these like kind of orange bulb things, but they're cameras. And what they are trying to capture are neutrinos. Do you know what neutrinos are?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
So for those that don't know, they're these like particles that come from the sun. They come from exploding stars. They come from like space, right? And they literally pass through our bodies all the time. It's like unnoticed, undetected. They're so small. They just like we're constantly I mean, that's kind of cool to kind of think about that. I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of cool. Anyways, this place has this pure water in the hopes of as the neutrinos, because they pass basically through everything, if they go through there, they will react with the pure water on occasion and create like a spark, which then the camera takes a picture of this so they can take a picture of this neutrino. And it's just kind of to understand the galaxy. And it's like, man, who thinks up stuff like this?
Sounds like the cave in Lost. The light source in Lost. Yeah.
Which I miss that show. There are so many wonderful things about that show. I heard and I was so excited when I read it. Did you ever see this movie? It came out, I would say I want to say 1980. It was called The Final Countdown.
No, I think you've asked me. Is this the one in Planes? The time
Yeah.
travel one?
Oh my
Okay.
God.
I looked
It
for it, but I
is.
couldn't find it.
Oh my God. Okay. I will find it for you. And no, I have it. I have it. I will send it. I will send you the link. It stars Martin Short. Did I say Martin Short? Martin Sheen. Did I say two very
Easy to
different
pick them
people?
up. Yeah.
Oh, it's a very different movie. And Kurt Douglas. And it's such a great movie because I'm a huge World War II in the Pacific. Like I just because of where I lived growing up, like I was more focused on the war in the Pacific part. I was more interested in that. So this kind of movie has that. I don't want to give it away. Like, even though it's not something that's easily, readily available for people to go see, it's still, it was the first movie that I ever watched as a child that dealt with time travel. And that I thought just blew my mind, right? The possibilities. And then I went on this whole obsessive thing as a child about time travel. Were you ever fascinated by time travel?
Yeah, definitely. I love the Twilight Zone, Back to the Future, or anything to do with time travel. I love it. Even the
Yeah.
bits in Lost, which people didn't like. No, I enjoyed the
Yeah.
time travel.
I so I found that the writers had that was one of their favorite movies. And I think that that is really cool just because of the I'm just going to tell because I mean if it's such an old movie, I think I can't be accused of giving away the plot, right? So Martin Sheen is a contractor and he's supposed to go on the USS Nimitz and he is supposed to kind of just like see how things are going. He doesn't know why he's sent there, but he was actually sent there by an unknown boss in a limo. Okay. There's somebody in a limo. It's his boss. He wants to meet the boss, but the peeps with the boss are like, yeah, he doesn't want to meet you, right? Just enjoy your trip. He goes on this trip. Kurt Douglas is the CEO. James Ferrantino is the XO, and I believe he's CAG. I believe he's XO and CAG is commander of Air Group. So number two guy, and he's got the bunk next to Martin Sheen. Well, Martin Sheen goes and he snoops around like, I don't know why would you do that? But he snoops around in the cabin next to him because the door was open. And he finds that James Ferrantino is like, he's right. He's like a World War II historian, on all sorts of stuff on the Japanese fleet coming into the Pacific. Crazy storm. They go through this crazy storm. And after they come out of this crazy storm, they start hearing old radio, like old time radio from like the 40s and stuff, and they don't know what's going on. Then they start to see like this, like as the aircraft, like the aircraft, you know, I don't know if it's F-14s. I can't remember. I believe it's F-14s. They go and they kind of look around the area. They see like an old yacht kind of on the thing in it. They said it looks old. It turns out to be like this senator from the 40s. Or no, he's not yet a senator. He's going to be a senator. He's like no, maybe he is a senator. He's in the running to possibly be the next president, right? So Japanese Zero comes and like shoots up the plane. And so they get forced to like pick these people up, right? Because you've got maritime law. It doesn't matter what time you think you're on. You have maritime law. You got to help these people. And it becomes clear to them that they are that the ship has gone back to the day before the attack of Pearl Harbor. Now, here's where the question is, now you've got this vessel that single-handedly, this will end the war. Like it will end it before it starts, right? The nuclear power of the USS Nimitz in 1940. Can you imagine? So it's like
Yeah.
this kind of moral dilemma. It's like, do you stop it or do you just let it go on? Because what's happened has happened. So I loved stories like that. Just the whole paradox of like, wait, you know,
Yeah. And what would you have done? Would you have stopped or prevented the war? Or would you have just let things run out?
I agreed that you would have to let things run out. They weren't given the choice in the film. They weren't given the choice because they went through another time thing.
Do you think there was the choice of Pearl Harbor? This is a conspiracy theory question. Do you think the US
There was this,
government let it happen?
there was a great book, and it was called um, Japan's Imperial Conspiracy. I mean, it's so hard to tell, you know, like it's hard to believe, it's hard to read anything. I grew up, and when I grew up, and I didn't think about this at the time, but we were not that far away from, you know, the Vietnam War, I suppose, right? Like, but growing up in American history books and things like that meant to believe that Ho Chi Minh was like, you know, this like farmer dude causing trouble, starting this thing, this uneducated guy. Turns out this guy had like could speak like 7 languages, had multiple degrees, was very educated. But it's funny that that's not what we learned. And yet, you know, America and Americans have kind of attacked a lot of different countries saying, oh, you guys have changed the history books and stuff like that. But as you get older and you start going out into the world and you start realizing, okay, there's all these different perspectives. I don't, you know, it's hard to say just read one book. I say read as much as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Get
was
every
quite surprised when I
perspective.
went to Vietnam, the stuff I didn't know that I read in museums. You know, the things like Agent Orange. I had no idea about stuff like that. Because you just hear or you just heard one perspective. No, it was one book in school. Well, we didn't even learn about Vietnam in school. The most I knew about Vietnam was the A team that they. That's where my knowledge of Vietnam ends.
And there were a lot of great movies about Vietnam in the 80s.
Yeah,
They had great, great, great movies. I mean, they had Platoon, um, Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket's a fantastic movie. And then you had some kind of like duds. I would say Casualties of War was kind of a dud. And I can't say that because everybody loves Michael J. Fox so much. And it's like you can't say that that's a bad movie because he's in it, but it was kind of a dud.
I think he should be able to. No, just because it's Michael J. Fox, who I think is amazing. He's done some stuff that I don't like. Not everything he's done is amazing.
That's true, right? Yeah, I don't just, e- especially now, you just can't read just one opinion of anything anymore. And I like the kids that question the things that they read in school because it's, you know, I mean, it's
Yeah,
kind of ridiculous now.
well, that's what we keep saying about the algorithms. You get one perspective pushed towards you that you have to actively look for other perspectives.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't, like I mentioned, the Macron beating. You know, the first thing you do is that real? And you have
Yeah.
a look around because it could just as easily be fake.
Yeah. It's hard to know. It's like so many different things. People are gonna make assumptions. I mean, I don't know. I saw it, you know?
Yeah,
Can it be like, people joking around? Yeah. Like me and my cousins smack each other around all the time still,
yeah. I was just going to
you
say,
know?
having taught middle school, that's
You
quite
know,
a regular occurrence. Oi, stop that!
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, right? It's like
yeah.
constantly. And it's not
I think
even
it was more
anything.
his reaction to it that was what made the story rather than the actual slap. The way
Yeah.
he looked shocked and then he smiled and then he looked angry. It was a full body language analysis of it.
The world is kind of crazy right now. It's really heartbreak. Like it's so hard um and I see people that I see people that don't usually post politics or post anything are very, very disturbed lately and very distraught to the point where they're reaching out saying, I don't know what to do. I feel really, really bad. And I think that this is a collective thing that a lot of people are feeling. It's regardless of any kind of politics or anything like that. I don't, I'm not sure what to say and I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah, there's so much commentary about everything now that every micro incident becomes a big issue, and so many perspectives on things that years ago you just think were non-events.
It's heartbreaking because I don't know how a resolution is going to come.
Yeah,
I'm not saying people should stop. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I'm trying to find how is a resolution going to come because it just seems so sometimes, overwhelmingly, I don't know.
it's quite divisive as well. I feel now more than before, people feel like they have to have an opinion, they have to have a side.
Hmm.
They can't be impartial, they can't be, non-committal. People feel like they have to care unless they're a bad person. But when they do care, it's to one extreme, which immediately alienates 50% of the people.
Yeah. I think a lot of people also care and are afraid to be attacked for caring. It's like, oh, you're on this side or that side. It's like, no, I don't think people are actually taking a side right now. Just people are saying that this is not right. This is not cool. This is, you know, um, I was telling somebody, I said, I personally don't know how, how to help. And that's frustrating for me. So I said, it may seem ridiculous and it may seem small. Um, but it's things like I'll just repost stories that are funny, sometimes animal stories. I'm just trying to put light out there so that some people don't drown in all the sadness, you know, because it can be overwhelming too. And some people can let that kind of overtake their own lives sometimes. There's just that overwhelming sadness to the point that it can affect the people that are physically in proximity to them, something from outside. So it's like the only thing that I know that I can do, that I can maybe make somebody laugh and repost something funny or make somebody will see something like the Kamio Kande Super K and be like, oh wow, that's really cool, and go down some rabbit hole where they can think of something else at the time, you know. Um, you still don't have that list, do you?
I will do next time, and I will have my mask. It's not a mask. It's
The one that you won't tell me what it
the one
is.
that I
Is it
teased.
Chewbacca? Oh, you said it wasn't Star Wars related.
Not Star Wars related. I'm not going
Is
to
it
tell you.
a
I have to wait and see. It's not. I don't. Is a mask, if it goes over your entire head, is it a mask, or is a mask just on the face?
That's a good question. I I would I would I would say that they both count as a mask because you're masking your identity. Wouldn't
Using it
that be
as a
accurate?
verb instead of a noun. Yeah.
Is
No,
it
it's not Jim
is
Carrey.
it that
No.
was is it the Nacho Libre?
No.
I'm trying to think what kind of a mask. Did you
I actually
actively
did
were
think
you
this
gifted
morning
this
I
mask
saw,
or did you
no, I sourced it. Talking about Nacho Libre, this I saw Jack Black doing a. There was a fan who came up to him and he was walking up the in LA the trails.
was this the one where he was with Kevin Nealon?
Yeah, yeah, and
Poor Kevin Nealon.
yeah, no one knew Kevin Nealon.
No one
But
knew Kevin
no,
Nealon.
and that Jack Black reminded me very much of your son. Just his mannerisms and his his body language.
He's a jovial guy.
Yeah.
My son, he's a jovial like I would definitely say that I've never laughed. Nobody's ever made me laugh as hard as him. Like there is a period, it's not so much anymore and it kind of makes me sad, but I used to be able to say that at least once a day we laughed until like we were in tears. Like both of us. Usually it's at my mother's expense. Um, and she's a good sport. She's a really good sport. Um,
Up to a point, yes.
up to a point. But
Which he knows
just
how to cross.
just sometimes like like she just says stuff that we can't help it. And so it was nice to be able to laugh like that. Like I would say now it's at least maybe like once a week. Although the other day we both did laugh until we cried and I was in the middle of bronchitis and I couldn't breathe and I was wheezing and I thought I was going to die. And he wouldn't stop making me laugh. So I think that's I don't know, he's always been that way. But like I think that I mean, his grandfather was a joker, his dad's a joker. His granny, she's got dark humor. Like she's not like
Very
a
dark
ha
humor.
ha.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she's got dark humor, And
Yeah.
she has comments sometimes like you've said stuff like you've had me pass on something to her and I've passed it on and she has like without like a second thought like a biting comeback and I was like, "Damn, she's pretty good." Like I don't see a
Is she
lot
bad?
of
Yeah. Yeah.
were you like was your I mean you're kind of a jokester and your brother's a jokester.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
We
you
never
grow
were
up in a your
together.
dad seems like a jokester.
Yeah, it was lots of pranks growing up, and it still is now because I see my brother every 2 or 3 days, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
one of the brothers.
one of the brothers. The other one, no, I can't say that yet. It's one secrecy.
We haven't made up a nickname for him. The other we should just call the other brother the
Yeah.
OB. You just call him OB from now
Yeah.
on. What's up, OB? Do you find that you still have that dynamic all the
Yeah,
time?
and even when I was teaching, there was that dynamic with the students. It probably shows my immaturity.
No, the kids love you.
Yeah, I still believe that a healthy environment where students don't have that fear and they have the ability to express themselves to a certain extent, I think that's healthy in terms of learning and in terms of developing as a person.
Yeah. I think that's a huge thing. Um, is also, trusting them too and trusting like I value their opinions and things like that and that builds a trust. And I think that when they trust you and respect you, I think that it's much easier to learn from somebody that you trust and respect.
Yeah,
I found definitely for me, if I didn't connect with the teacher. And I can see that now, now that I'm older, having worked with kids, I could see now which teachers like absolutely sucked when I was a kid. And then I go back and I'm like, it's funny. Those classes were the ones I struggled in
yeah,
because there was just like no connect. It was just like, this is what I'm doing. And every teacher that was kind of a nerd, that was kind of excited or, even asked, had interest of like, oh, what are you listening to or that, it made me want to try harder for that teacher. And so, I mean, I think that's a huge testament to you too, because I worked at a different campus, but I would always heard the kids, my son included, just have rave things to say. So good on you. They don't know
Yeah,
what a weirdo you really are. No, just
yeah.
joking. With your floating pools. They're
There
going to
was
hear,
one
what? He's going to
question.
pay to float?
I thought you're into your water therapy. You'll have a sensible opinion about this. But then I had two voice messages that were not sensible.
That was mostly him. It just, like I said, I think that the ad that you sent me, and I have to go back and take a look, I did not see a pod. It just looked like somebody floating in a pool. And I just thought, we both thought, man, he just doesn't know what to spend his money on, right? So he's just spending it on this kind of stuff. Because,
I went
like
to a.
my mother already makes fun
Didn't
of
tell
you
her,
for
did
all
you?
your pop Funko. No, we didn't tell her. We didn't tell her about the pool. She already makes fun of the pop Funko. So I think so it was like,
Yeah.
and
I actually
shoes.
came up on Chat GPT when I was. So I get my workout, my exercise regime, and I get Chat GPT to check it and tell me how balanced it is and if I need to do more of something. And one of the things about recovery, because I was asking, do I do enough recovery? Not just in terms of sleeping, but things like the ice bath and it's that actually suggested these pods. And I said, are there any in Bangkok? And then it suggested this website.
Okay, so this is a serious question. It's not making because I'm
What a premise. Okay.
no, because I'm not an exercise person, right? So I'm not like I've not gone. I've gone to the gym at the condo just to like walk on the treadmill for like a little bit, and then I got bored, and I'm like, yeah, this is boring. I don't want to do this. If you're working out, if you don't work out, you don't need to recover. Like, what do you like? What is the recovery?
So it's things like muscle recovery when you do weights or even things like, I'm not going to say that because you'll just stretching. You put stress on the body, so the body needs to recover. And if you don't exercise, you don't need to recover because your life is just recovering, now becoming a big festering mess.
Are you like so? Your whole workout plan, does that like includes weights
Yep.
or no?
Weights, yeah, weights, mobility, um, nutrition,
When you say mobility, what does that entail?
stretching.
These are serious questions.
Yeah.
I really don't.
So, um, yeah, the mobility includes using muscles you wouldn't usually use, especially if you sit down for a long time.
So it's like a kettlebell.
No, that would be weights. So it's more things like Pilates and yoga. So it's putting your body into positions it wouldn't usually be in.
Do you find? I mean, how long have you been doing all these things?
Since I'd say about March, maybe February, March, when I stopped
And
doing the
have you
weightlifting.
felt improvements?
Yes. No, when I was doing a lot of weights, I felt stronger, but I felt not very mobile. I felt a bit cumbersome. Like I said, felt like C3PO.
Yeah,
So I thought I'm going to change my focus to become, as you age, more mobile, more functional. So things like grip strength and mobility is important because that's where a lot of the accidents occur is when you fall down and you don't have the grip strength to stop yourself falling down.
right.
Yeah. And then, because I sit a lot, so I wanted to make sure my posture and everything was still okay and I wasn't turning into a hunched over, like you see lots of the evolution of man t-shirts
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
especially with the phones now. So I actively try and, because my balance is terrible, so I'm trying to work on balance.
Do you
That's my
think it's
new
because
thing.
of your height?
Partly, but I think it might be genetics, um, and and because next Mafia has the same thing. He's very lopsided more than me, so a lot of the stuff he does for golf is compromising himself
Yeah,
and compensating. So when he does his golf swing, he should be equally um, mobile, but he can just do it one way, and all his weight is compensated on one side. So his left leg is a bit of a mess. So then now that he started doing the same thing as me, he's having to have physio on his left knee, his left wrist, just because he's been overcompensating with his right side for so many years.
Yeah. How long's he been golfing?
Since he was 12, 13.
And how come you didn't take up golfing?
Um, I
Because
was
you wanted
never
to
really
take off
given.
flotations in a pool.
Yeah, I got more into the music side. So my parents chose one. No, so he was golf, I was music, and uh, OB OB was tennis.
Did you ever play in a band?
Yeah, a few times.
What was the first band?
It was at school. I was in grade. What would it be? Grade 8, grade 9.
Really? And what kind of music did you play?
Covers.
Really? Like of
Yeah.
what bands?
Um, U2, Duran Duran, Brian
Do you
Adams.
have pictures?
My parents might have. I don't, because it's before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It's when you had to use a camera. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. And was that was the first band? Do you remember the name of
Yeah.
the band?
I do not. I don't think we ever settled on a name. It changed every time because
Did
whenever
you ever have a proper band? Like one that like got booked somewhere?
we played at different events. We played at like the school dance. That's very much like Back to the Future now. We played at the school dance. We played at different school events. And it was very much a, what's your band called today? And just one of us would just say something, and that was the name for the day.
Wow. That's kind of cool.
The first name was actually Feedback, because that's what
The
you
name of the
two,
band was Feedback?
yeah, because that's what U2 called themselves. That was their original name.
I
My
didn't
friend
know
was a
that.
massive U2 fan. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Did I tell you that I just picked up a U2 shirt the other day?
Yeah. Joshua Tree, right?
Yeah.
The Joshua, yeah.
Like, that was a good, if it maybe up to Rattle and Hum, I would have taken it. I don't know if
Yeah.
I would have done
Rattle and Hum, I
Zooropa.
wasn't. Yeah.
I would have liked to have had War if I find a War. I think it'll come to me. I kind of feel
Be
like
patient.
the band shirts that are meant to find me will find me. I've been lucky. And some of the ones that I found, like I found like this really sick Go-Go's one. It's like, how did you guys miss this one? You know, there was like
Yeah.
a cool Sublime one that somebody missed.
Treasure.
Yeah, it's fun. Like it's turned out to be my new thing of, when I was young, I would go to Lose Records in San Diego. It's like it was like for North County, like the independent shop, but just like going through the bins to look for, you had a lot of like European import singles of bands, which would always have like sometimes a different B-side,
Yeah. Yeah.
so for me, it was like, I was always trying to find like Pixies, imports, or, I have a huge collection of, Pearl Jam imports, because I loved it. Like you had to give, find Footsteps. You had to go get Alone. You had to get Yellow Lead Butter, um, and hope. I think that a lot of us hoped that there would be the lyrics for Yellow Lead Butter and Yellow Lead Butter, but no, it's still anyone's guess, even
What was the
today.
first CD that you bought? Because I was thinking about this the other day.
The first CD,
Yeah.
the first CD that our family bought was Phil Collins, but seriously. And we didn't get a CD after that for a long time, because that CD was like $35.99. That's how much like the CDs were when they first came out. I remember us getting the first CD player, and that was kind of expensive, right? It was like $700, which was a lot of money back then. And so the idea of paying $35, which was a lot of money back then. It's a lot of money now,
Yeah.
$35.
It's a lot now. Yeah.
Who would pay $35 now for a CD? Like nobody would. The people would be like, I'm just going to go over to, Pirate Bay, just going to go get music. So it was a lot of money then, but afterwards that was all we had for a while. And then the second CD, somebody gave us the Little Mermaid soundtrack, which was so disappointing. It was like,
Classic, right?
cause I was like, I was a teenager. Like, why would you buy me that? Like, as a gift. Like, and then the third CD was Nat King Cole's Greatest Hits. So I love Nat King Cole. So Phil Collins and Nat King Cole, I played a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. The first CD that I bought with my own money, I can't remember. I don't know. I know which were the first tapes that I bought. I know which was the first vinyl record I bought. The first vinyl record I bought with my own money was Falco. It was Falco. I loved Rock Me Amadeus. I loved it so much. So that was my first, and I still have it. And um, the second album I picked up was Belinda Carlisle. So I love Belinda Carlisle.
Yep,
I
I
still
still
love her
do.
to this day.
Yeah.
Yes, still love her to this day. Um, yeah, and I remember like the first cassettes that I bought um, were Midnight Oil. Like that was with Babysitting Money, Midnight Oil, Automatic, Jesus and Mary Chain, um, all the Depeche Modes. I was like really buying because once me and my friend Alex discovered Depeche Mode, that was it. Like, and we could not get enough. It was just like once you like
Well done.
consumed, you consumed one whole, like, okay, we're done with Speak and Spell. Now we're going to go to Construction Time again. Oh, now we're going to go to Black Celebration. It was just like, give me more, give me more, give me more.
Yeah.
Insatiable at that age. That age, I was so insatiable when it came to music. I just wanted music. I couldn't get enough of it. And a lot of people may or may not. I remember how excited I was to get my cassette rack, like this wood cassette rack, and be able to like mount it on the walls and have my cassettes, displayed. And I think it was like, I want to say that each one had 50 and 50. So it was like, what 100 cassettes are going to be on display, and how am I, and thus became like my weird obsession that's gone out throughout life of trying to catalog my music, or how am I going to catalog my music? And I've gone through kind of different phases where it's like, okay, I'm going to do it all alphabetically. I remember one time was, I think I broke my brain. I tried to do it by genre, and then it started having like subgenres. And then I'm like, no, this is not going to work. And then I liked by year. I think by year was one of my favorites, because then you could just like, okay, what was going on in this year, this decade? And it was like, oh, there's a chunk of that decade. So do you remember what was your first?
Yeah, I bought two. I remember buying, or I can't remember if I bought it or if it was a Christmas present, getting my CD player, my stereo. I thought, I'll go out and they're expensive, CDs, they were expensive. So you had to choose wisely.
Yeah.
And the first two I chose to get on CD, even though I had them already on cassette, was Songs from the Big Chair and Brothers in Arms.
I was going to say, I bet you it was Brothers in Arms.
It was, yeah. Has to be for a new CD player.
Right, right. I remember the first CD I played in my car, that the first car that I had a CD player. And it wasn't like, I don't even think cars have CD players anymore. It's like, wow, like I've gone through that whole, like,
Yeah.
they don't even have them anymore. But before it was like that, stick the CD player in the front of the car, my CD player was in the trunk, and you had to like, so it was a pain in the ass. You had to like load it back there. And so I remember I sat on it for a while, because it was like, it was my first car that I bought brand new. I'd never bought a car brand new before. So it was my first car brand new. It, I really had to think about it for like a long time. Like, what did I want to have be the first sounds? And it ended up being, the Breeders' No Aloha. Cause it just comes off with like Kim starting no aloha. And it's just her voice. And then the music comes in. So I thought that would be perfect. And it was. And I never forgot
Yeah.
that.
No, I think the songs stick to the cars as well, or certainly the memories. Because when I think back to the cars that my parents had, they go with different cassettes. I remember
I
my
didn't think
dad
about
buying
that, but you're
a
right.
Ford Granada, which I don't know if it'd be called that in the States, Ford Granada. Sierra, no, he bought a Ford Granada, which I don't know what the equivalent is.
Pinto?
Pinto's a little one, like it was a
I don't know.
family size
Was it a
car.
station wagon?
No, we didn't really have station wagons.
Really?
Yeah,
Was that an
um,
American thing?
yeah, it's very much National Lampoon's Vacation thing. But in this car that he bought, I think it was well, I hope it was secondhand. There was a lot of oranges on the back seat, and there was a cassette stuck in the player, and it was Madness. And ever since
Wow.
then, my dad's hated Madness just because of that.
Really?
Yeah,
That's funny. I remember my mom's car had 8-track, and it was just like she had Anne Murray, like, so she had this, like, it was like a suitcase that had 8 tracks in the suitcase so you could change. So it wasn't like, like a CD book that had all your CDs. It was
yeah.
like a suitcase to change music. And she had Billy Joel and, Anne Murray and those kinds of things. But I remember the 8 tracks. That was really cool. That really ages us right here. One of my first year teaching, one of the kids came up to me, and he was like, "Miss Lisa, what do you call that? What's that thing?" It's like that, and it's like you can watch movies on it, but there's no movies on it. I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "It's that thing. It's round. It's like, that thing that has the movies on it, but you can't watch movies on it, like a CD." He's like, "Yeah, that's it." And I was like, I never felt so old in my life.
Yeah,
I was like, "What are you talking about? Thing that plays movies, but there's no movies on it."
and it is. And back then, you had to choose. You couldn't just be dismissive. You couldn't go and buy a CD and listen to 5 seconds and say, "Oh no, let's try something else," like you
Yeah,
can now with streaming and things like Spotify. There's almost too much choice.
yeah. It's interesting because, you know, I started out, for me, the things that I had was vinyl, because I got those. They were like, Walt Disney had the picture storybooks, and you got a record. So, like, it was for kids, and so you would put on the record, and on one side someone would read the book to you, and it was really cool, and so you got to play it on a Fisher Price. So I had records growing up, and then you got cassettes. Both of those mediums, it's kind of a pain in the ass just to, play one thing and then go and change to another band. So you usually just listen to the whole thing. And it was kind of like that with CDs too. When we had a Walkman, it was easy. You just listened to the whole thing. And I wonder if that whole thing's going to digital, if that's really changed. And I can't say if it has or not, but has it changed the whole album as a complete concept album type thing? If people are only listening to one or two songs, like, for example, um, you know, uh, Smashing Pumpkins had a 3-part rock opera, that Autumn, and it came out, with all these different songs, but and it's kind of meant to be listened to as a complete work. But it's so easy for people to go, "I just like this song or that song. I'm just going to buy this song or that song." Do you think that inhibits? Okay, if you're the Pumpkins, yeah, you could do something like that. But I suppose if you were a smaller band, you're like, "Hey, I want to do like a rock opera." You don't have that pull. You don't have that power. You don't have the legacy to be able to do that. You'll get pushed down. People are like, "Yeah, give us a
Yeah,
hit single." Do you think that's
yeah,
changed songwriting?
yeah, yeah. I think it's all about singles now. It's about the shorter attention span. So it's maybe not even a hit single. It's a hit, part of a single. It's, if you recognize part of a song, then that's what makes it a hit.
Do you think that the labels are important anymore? Do you think that there's enough resources out there for people to, I don't know, self-release without going through labels? Or is it
I think,
still,
um, I think so. I think people can definitely self-record, like you were saying about the man behind the fridge. You can self promote. So it's just a case of having that outlet, which you can with YouTube and Spotify. You can just put your stuff out there. And I don't know how the labels make money anymore, or if they
but they
do.
still are, right? And they're still
Yeah.
making tons of it. I mean, they're taking their cut off of Spotify, you know? So the artists are still it astounds me. I suppose like it's hard for me to understand with so many artists, right? With and if you start to collectively gather all the top artists of the world together, how is it that everybody can't get into a room and find a different model that works for everybody? What is it too late to like say, okay, let's start from scratch? Obviously, the laborers are going to hold on to whatever they can hold on to because they don't want to lose whatever, right? However, look at what Taylor Swift has done. She's just gone and re-recorded her songs because they're still her songs. Like they just owned those recordings of them. You know, whoever bought it, Scooter Braun, whoever bought her recordings. So she just re-recorded it. I see a lot of artists doing that now as well, kind of taking over and also releasing their own stuff saying, hey, I have my demos. I'm going to release my demos because at least I can get paid and I don't have to pay, you know, the label for that. What what is stopping everybody from just saying to the labels, we're done with this? And what and do you have any idea? I don't know if it's something that you've thought about, but why is Spotify the only like, I don't understand, like, if everybody knows that Spotify is ripping off the artist, what can be done to make it right?
I don't think anything can. I think the labels are making money, so they'll keep making money. No,
So
they write the
it really is the
contract.
labels that are the bad guys because, I mean,
Yeah. Well, I think bad guys is an oversimplification. They're the guys that know how the industry works and they've used that to their advantage to make money.
it's just it's very shocking and frustrating. I mean, you see that so many artists are struggling, you know? And just hearing, like, people have come out before. Now you see a lot of videos or you hear a lot of stories because the internet's there. And you'll hear stories of like what happened to TLC and how they were not getting any money and they stormed the, you know, the label offices and, you know, demanded that they get their fair share. But it just seems like this has been an ongoing problem. And I wonder why it's not been solved. There's been enough people that I would think that are powerful enough in the industry. Why is it not getting solved? And I mean, and so if you say, okay, it's the labels, okay, what are the labels good for anymore? Distribution? Are they just the money, the front for the videos? Can people crowdsource? You know, I mean, there are definitely artists that are independent artists that have done okay,
Yeah.
and there's
That
some
was
that aren't
Prince's
doing okay.
big project, wasn't it? Similar to Taylor Swift, how he believed that he owned all of his work because it was recorded at his studio. He wrote the songs, he played the songs, but they still weren't his. So
Who
that
was
was
this?
Prince. That was
Oh,
his big
Prince.
beef with Sony, I think it was, with the record label.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems very I think that there are I mean, I have seen some independent artists trying to I have friends that are independent artists trying to. And they've got solid songs, right? But it's hard to break into that. So I guess I can understand if you have a label, they've got that exposure. And I want to say like, oh well, if you do extra hard work, but I don't think that I mean it is algorithms, it's a lot of different things, right?
Yeah. And maybe some of these artists just, they're into the music. They just want to write music, record music, play music. They're not interested in marketing or, videos or, you know, distribution
Yeah,
until it's
I
too
get
late,
that.
until they get big and then they regret signing a contract that they signed, which covers the next 20 years or so.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. Like I don't like marketing for this thing. I'll be honest. Like I hate it. Yeah, I think it totally sucks. And um I used to like even just trying to advertise the show in the beginning, like I was trying to do like advertise across all platforms to just, you know, come listen. And then I just realize I hated it. Like, I hate advertising on TikTok because I don't engage in TikTok. So it's like, this is not my world. Like, I don't like advertising on Facebook because I try to go into Facebook undercover, like all the time, like personally, and it's usually only because my mom's like, I need you to like something on my page because nobody's liking it yet. I need you to kickstart the algorithm. And it's like, I feel like I have to go in undercover. Like, I need to get in there, like her thing, and get out before anybody detects me in there because I don't want people to be
Yeah.
like, oh, you're on like, no, I don't
Like a
want to
burning
be.
building, right?
Yeah, like I don't want to be in here.
In and
So it's
out as
like,
quick as you
it's,
can.
yes, in and out, like in and out. And I realized that I like Instagram just because it's like one thing at a time. Here's your thing. We're going to give you one thing. Like it or don't like it, look at it or swipe away. And when I open up other things, it's just like so much coming at me and like, I'm like, whoa, don't want to deal with it. So I thought I'm just going to focus on advertising, marketing on Instagram. That's going to be it because it's what I use. And, hopefully my peeps, I'll find our peeps here. Like, I don't know if I want peeps from maybe I don't want Facebook peeps. Maybe I don't want TikTok peeps. Do you think though that there is, and this is an interesting question, do you think that people that are on different platforms have different kinds of personalities? And do you think the ones that could go across all are super pros or are they psychopaths?
Psychopaths.
Because they can shapeshift, right?
Yeah, they know what persona to emit on a specific platform.
You find so it's not just me, right? You can
Well, I think
it's
social
different
media is just,
personalities, right?
yeah, it's propaganda. Yeah, yeah, and it's different on
Like,
different platforms.
it's a different energy. I find a very different energy, like on different platforms. But even like within one platform, like you said, people can get stuck in an algorithm. For whatever reason, the other day I don't know how I got stuck on an M&M algorithm, and I have so much which I'm not complaining. Like I wouldn't actively go to seek being on an M&M algorithm. Oh, I think it's because he's a grandfather now, and there was like something, and I thought it was but it was AI. It was like him holding the baby, and it was like Fitty with them, Dr. Dre and Snoop, and I'm like, oh, that's really cute. And then I realized I'm like, that's not real. That's a fake. But it looked sweet, and I thought, oh, that's so wholesome. But then afterwards, I was on an Eminem algorithm, and I have all this
It's
respect for
hard to get
Eminem.
off them as well, right? Once you're on an
Um,
algorithm, it's
no,
hard to get
because I don't
off.
actively try to get off of them. It seems like my algorithm resets. It's like I'll get that for a while, and um, and then it seems to, I don't know, go back to however it was. Like I wouldn't know how to come off of an Eminem algorithm. Like, I don't
That's
know,
what I'm
how do you
saying.
get off of an
Yeah,
algorithm?
that's what I'm
Because the
asking.
more
Yeah,
that I watched, the more that came up, and I was like listening to it. I'm like, A, his friends have mad respect for him. That says a lot. I like it when people have a lot of good things to say about their friends and counterparts. So there was a lot of different people saying a lot of good things about him as a rapper, as an artist, that made me kind of listen to his stuff more. And I'm like, huh. So I think that that's kind of cool and important. Like, a lot of people, I think it's still important for bands to name check other bands, people to name check their counterparts that they have admiration for, because I think it's a way for people to discover, like, I'm sure you and me as children discovered a lot of things by hearing. Well, sometimes it's our generation. It was like bands that other bands slagged off too. That was the other way you could discover music. Oh, they've slagged off this band. Oh, now I'm going to go listen to this band, see why they're slagging off this band. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite rock beef?
I go through different phases. I mean, the most famous one was Oasis Blur, um, but that was very manufactured.
Yeah, I was
I
going to
think
say, was that an actual beef?
not really. No, it's just they really decided to release a specific song on the same day and see who went to number one.
Who won?
But I'm just trying. I think it was Blur. I think it was Country House, and
Good song.
can't remember the Oasis one. It wasn't one of their best.
It wasn't, I wouldn't say, I mean, it's, I don't know why so many people like to compare bands, you know? Like, why does there have to, why does one have to be better than the other? When I think of Blur or I think of Oasis, I don't find them similar at all. I find completely different energies, like
Yeah,
if I was feeling one way, I'd want to go listen to that. And if I was feeling another way, I'd want to go listen to that. And I don't really understand all the time people comparing bands because I just think that,
to sell records, it's all manufactured by the
right?
media. Yeah, no,
But then
but
people get carried up in it and as well. Like people jump
yeah, well,
on
people
this.
are very tribal. They like to have a team to shout for.
Yeah. It's funny. Me and Anuj did this post on the Muffs because we were just really missing Kim Shattuck. And it was two things that I found from it was so lovely. Like there was so much love for Kim, so much love for Kim. And it was kind of healing a little bit because her dying, I'm getting kind of choked up thinking about it now. Her dying was like super unexpected. You know, it's like I think that there's certain energies in the world that you can't get enough of. And I think that everybody had that feeling about Kim. Um and so I think it was just really, really shocking her passing. But to see this post, I mean, and people just continually commenting on her energy, her love. It's like such a beautiful thing. It's such a really lovely, lovely thing. However, I found this like a lot of people would sit there and say, "Oh, so much better than Whole." So, more than once that comment, it was like completely different bands, completely different energy.
Yeah, no, it is because people are tribal and they want to say that this is my team, this is the best team. It's going back to a caveman mentality, which always happens with the football, especially when England are playing anywhere. Oh,
Yeah,
it's, it's very tribal. It's unpleasant. I've been to one England game and it was I wouldn't go again.
really.
Yeah,
What game did you go to?
it was a friendly. It was England. I can't remember who it was against. It was in Birmingham. It was at Aston Villa's ground. It might have been the Netherlands. England against Netherlands. It wasn't in a competition or anything. It was just a friendly game.
Did I tell you that I got to see my beloved Chargers in Wembley Stadium?
No. Or was this the time
So,
you had? Was it snowing and you had sandals on?
yes.
Is it that? Is it the same?
Yes, it
Same.
was. It
Okay.
was. It was. And I haven't noted because it was like October 29th. October 20th, it was an odd day to snow. And yes, I did have sandals on. Like that, I mean, cold weather gear in San Diego is usually hat, scarf, gloves. I had arm warmers, I think possibly. Um, wife beater, t-shirt, sweatshirt, then a jacket, jeans, but yeah, open-toed sandals. And people, I mean, so many people stopped me in London. They're like, "Aren't your feet cold?" I'm like, "No, not at
Yeah.
all."
Are you mental?
Yeah.
Are you
They
okay?
were
Have you?
just like,
Do you need us to send you somewhere?
"No, I like my toes breathing." I don't like I was never a fan. Like even when I skateboarded, I loved to skateboard like barefoot. I felt like I had good grip because I was always barefoot as a kid. I was just always barefoot. Like because I was at the beach or I was at the pool. Like I was a barefoot kid. And which is funny now because now I see some people barefoot, like walking around barefoot, and and I know it's supposed to be good, but then there's this whole other like Howie, what's his name? Is it Howie Mandel? Like
Yeah.
the germaphobe? Like there's that
Yeah.
germaphobe in me going, oh, this is a bad idea. Like you should not.
There's a lot of people in New Zealand that walk around barefoot,
Yes. Yeah.
and that's not just because they can't be bothered putting shoes on. It's to connect with the earth. And
Yeah,
that's a big thing. That,
that
that
makes
your
sense to
feet
me.
make contact with the earth, then it's a different energy.
Yeah. Well, around the house, like in the garden, my mom's always yelling at me. She's like, "You're gonna get ringworm." And I'm like, then, like, okay. In the garden, I always go barefoot, but like not out like where people are.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
I just think about
part of this
people peeing
mobility that I'm
everywhere.
talking about, yeah, part of this mobility is now I have very stiff ankles. So I think years and years wearing sneakers, trainers, not just for me, but for many people, it's not natural. Your body isn't moving the way it should. Not just your feet, but your hips and your knees and your lower back. It's all connected.
It's funny, like I told you, my whole entire youth, like I was always barefoot just because I was on swim team. So we were like one of my like during the day, like I'd swim like at lunchtime and then we'd have like after lunch, it was like that was our PE session was swimming and then after school, like always in flip flops or barefoot. And then I remember I got a job like when I was out of high school and it was at a shoe store. It was like a Nine West shoe store and they forced you to wear their shoes. And within 6 months, I dropped 2 shoe sizes. And the reason was that my arch, like I didn't realize like my arches had dropped. And by wearing proper shoes, because I was forced to at work, that my arches went back up. And we only realized it because they would give you like every season you'd get a new pair of shoes and they'd have to mark it, out of inventory and you could see, the size. And it was like,
This
it just
grass going
incrementally
down.
kept going down. And they're like, how is this possible? And we realized it was, just from wearing the proper shoes. Like I didn't put a lot of account into that when I was younger, but then it made sense. So for my son, I'm always trying to make sure he's got like arch supports and things like that because I think it can definitely make a difference. But some of the shoes you guys get are.
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's finish there because I need to go before you start abusing my sneakers.
Abusing your what?
My trainers. There's nothing wrong with
No,
trainers.
none of your trainers. There's all your trainers are fine. There's just one pair of trainers that you gifted my son that are like the same. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about on the Seinfeld episode where Cosmo has those particular trainers. The
Yeah,
day that he goes to the dentist, also, and has
yeah,
Novocaine. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what.
And speaks at the special
Was
announcement.
that why
Yeah,
you gave it to him? That makes sense then.
yeah. No, the real reason was the reaction of your mum. She hated them.
She hates them. I don't know. She
That's
says
why I
they're the
left them
ugliest
there.
shoes in the
Yeah.
world. I don't know why they're so terrible. All right. Um, all right then.
Yep. Next time I will
Sayonara.
have the list and maybe the mask. I might tease that for another session.
Adios.
Sayonara.